of the year. It's fantastic to be together again, and I hope that you have all had a really lovely and no doubt well-deserved summer break. So just before we start, I'd like to open up a hui with the karakia. Tu taua mai runga, tu taua mai raro, tu taua mai roto, tu taua mai waho. Kia tau ai te mauri tū, te mauri ora ki te katoa, haumie huie tae ki e. I'd like to call for any apologies. I do just have one. Our interim CEO, Gina Rangi, will be slightly late, so apologies for lateness. Do we have any other apologies today? Commissioner Chair.
Vice Chief Executive Marty Grenville.
Thank you. Our TOEFL partners also apologies.
Happy New Year, Worship. Apologies from new CEO of Kawerau District Council, Morgan Godfrey.
Congratulations. We look forward to meeting Morgan shortly. We note all of those apologies. May I please have a mover and a seconder for them? Commissioner Chair Tolley and Mayor Denia. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Are there any late items to be added to the agenda? There appear to be none. There is also no public excluded business to be transferred into the open, so we'll carry on with our forum agenda. So we'll start with the minutes. This is the Bay of Plenty Forum minutes of the 24th of November. This is page 6 of our agendas. Just like to ask if there are any amendments or matters arising from the minutes. Mayor Turnui.
Your Worship, just on page 9 of item 4.1, as part of the Te Whatu order presentation, there was a reference, and it has been captured in the minutes to the local government budgets. Just looking to see if we've had any feedback from Te Whatu order as to what that was specifically referring to as we head into our LTP budget settings and preparations, Your Worship. Thank you.
We have not yet received any update, but what we can do is just ask staff to follow up with Whatu Ora directly, and perhaps if there are any updates, given we're in the middle of our TPs, we'll just send an email update to all of the members. Thank you. Are there any other items raised or corrections on the minutes? Nope. Yes.
A very small matter, Madam Chair, but our brand has changed, so we'll send you our latest corporate logo. So we'll do that for future correspondence on our behalf. Thank you.
That sounds very good, thank you. I did just want to note in the minutes, as we are in the middle of the RTP, just regarding the discussion with the sea cleaners, there was an item for staff to follow up chief executives to apply a coordinated approach in ensuring submissions were lodged with each council. So as we're not meeting until May, I just thought it would be a good opportunity as a reminder, so we don't miss the opportunity on that. Otherwise, there appear to be no further corrections or discussion. Yes, Commissioner Chair.
I was just looking at Victor's tyres because he did contact me before, because well, not Victor's tyres, but Victor's item on tyres. Just that my understanding is that February, that Te Maunga transfer station redevelopment was due to come to us in February, and I understand that's been delayed until March. But I'm still not. I mean, I haven't seen it, and I still don't know, and we'll discuss it later on, whether anything has been looked at for the tyres. I haven't had a reply, haven't had an answer. Yep.
Perhaps we could take it at the end on consideration of late items. Okay, thank you. Yes, Mayor Turnui.
Thank you, Mayor Tapsell. And just coming back to item 8.1, which is on pages 12 and 13 of the previous minutes, there was to be an update regarding our conversation around efficiency and effectiveness. or perhaps that's for the May upcoming mural forum. It was just captured that we would be updated, Your Worship.
Thank you. I think we'll follow up with staff too and bring that to the May meeting. Thank you. Otherwise, I'm happy to move. Do I have a seconder for these minutes? Seconded by Mayor Luca. All those in favour that these are true and correct, please say aye. Any against? That's carried. Thank you. So we move to our reports. This is our only item in the reports today, and it is our letter to Honourable Minister Simeon Brown for approval. So I'd like to ask Fiona just to overview this briefly.
Good afternoon. This is a report back to you based on your last meeting where you asked the chief executives to go back and provide a letter seeking for ministers to come to the next mural forum. I'm pleased to say that all CEOs contributed to this letter and it's now ready for your approval.
Thank you very much. So we'll open for any questions and then take discussion. Medenia.
Thank you. Well, first, three points I'd like to make. I like the positive approach that highlights what we're doing to solve problems, not just moan about them. So in terms of the content of the letter, I'm entirely happy. That's on point for me. The only two other points is that can we get our new logo on the letter rather than our old one, please? And the last one was just a typo-y type thing, but aquaculture just needs conforming on the spelling of that. So other than that, I'm all good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tunui.
And give me a tip. So look, just with regards to the letter, well done. Thank you to our chief executives for bringing that work together. On page 18, just an addition, something that we thought of, especially having the conversation with new CE, it's a new set of eyes to be able to cast your eyes over, given that we'd had the extensive conversation about the inequitable and inaccessible health system, just adding that to the section around safe, supported and empowered Bay of Plenty resilience. We speak about homelessness and the policing, if we could just have that added, but great letter. And the suggestion around unlocking infrastructure, the reference at the end of that sentence with regards to the cost of three waters, particularly for our high growth communities, just actually stating that that's a huge pressure for our colleagues across the other side of the Bay of Plenty. If we could add that and not have that missed. But great work, team. Thank you for bringing that together.
Me, Luca. Just checking you've got your mic on. Just checking have you got, oh, thank you.
Too loud. Oh, see. Oh. Yeah, the first dot point that starts strategic infrastructure, air, sea, including Opotiki Harbour Road, rail transport, it should be Whakatane Airport at the end. If you could just append that. Yeah. E.G. dot. Well, we can add.
Airlines and airports, because we've also got an issue with WeChats, which is a big issue for multiple councils. So not necessarily.
Sorry, we're just for purposes of the recording, if you could remember to put the mics on.
So, Chair Tolley, perhaps would it be useful then, taking that on board, would it be useful if we perhaps said airlines and airports, regional airlines and airports?
Well, the only thing is you're talking strategic infrastructure. That's more of a service issue, is it? Isn't it?
They go together without going to lengthy explanation. They go together. I'm not going to die in a ditch on it. If it doesn't resonate with everybody, that's fine. But it is a very strategic issue for us in the east, and we've watched that airport and that airline and its significance for us in times of disaster and resilience, et cetera, and we're having real issues getting that traction with that. So that's why we would want to highlight it. That would be our driver.
Thank you. And I've actually within the past 48 hours have had letters and now a front page, not front, but an article regarding airline service, airport airline services and flights in and out of Rotorua as well, like ensuring that it's as a tourism region and with all of our workers trying to have consistent flights to Auckland and to Wellington as an example and not minimised or cancelled. So in terms of strategic infrastructure, just checking
Wouldn't you be then better to put it under improved transport connections? Because that's where it actually logically fits. It's more a transport issue than your actual physical infrastructure.
Us, it's the physical infrastructure of our airport as well, but that's, I'm trying to say that we've got an integrated set of problems that go together. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Anne, but it's becoming an increased issue. Yep.
Air Chathams or whether they're Air New Zealand, we all have those, but it's where you put it in here without starting to get this great long list of our individuals. It's trying to find a way that we can talk about it together, and we all have problems with air services and ensuring that they are reasonable and frequent and as at a reasonable cost. So we're all happy to talk about that. Yeah.
We're happy to accept wherever it goes. Just really important that it's an issue that's raised. That's our main probably objective.
I think given the importance and given that we all experience this one way or another, we could actually just add it as a separate bullet point around airline and yeah. Do you want to give a suggestion on how that's worded? Airport infrastructure, airline services?
Why don't you put it in improved transport connections and leave out especially freight logistics and put airline services, freight logistics and access to the port? Does that make sense?
Just wondering given this is under the productivity and regional economy, especially freight logistics and access to the port is probably a whole nother, that's its own value proposition. I've had a fantastic piece of paper with a great suggestion floating in front of me. How about maintaining airlines and airports that meet local and tourist needs? It's going to float this way now. Okay. The forum's happy with that? We'll include that in. Thank you very much. Were there any final points to add into this? Yes, Mayor Denia.
I did spot a couple more that I missed to say earlier. In the the attachment 1, it talks about extension of the TEL. I've never heard of that one before. And if it's going to go to the Eastern Bay, then that's going to be that's a long extension through the rest of our district. So I don't know where that one. No, that one's an alien concept to me. So
through the chair, that was a suggestion from the Eastern Bay that it could possibly be something that could be considered, but it hasn't been discussed at the regional level at all.
So as an Eastern Bay Mayor, sorry, through you, Chair, can I understand where that came from? Because that's the first time my eyes have read the link to Hawke's Bay, and Mayor Luca and I discussed that on the trip over. So it'd be great to get some information background about that, please.
The hot seat. Some of this work was actually started before my time as well. So I think the southern routes are Pukairoa and Ngāmotu Road, trying to link. We've had a strong request from iwi as well. They're currently our roads, they're unsealed roads, and we've had strong requests from both iwi and primary sector that it would make massive cost savings if those roads were sealed and unlocked as major arterials, and it would create a much greater link between the Napier to Taupō Road straight into the Eastern Bay and save a very long trip round to Taupō, Rotorua, Rainbow Mountain, and would really increase accessibility for iwi in terms of their big economic aspirations. So that's the southern one. I think the extension of the eastern link to Mayor Denia, I think that was discussed as part of pre-PGF conversations about managing the expansion of population through your district into ours and the safety aspects of that road and the congestion aspects of that road. I've never actually seen a map of what that extension would look like. I just know it's been on the table for some time as a kind of core arterial extension that's been discussed. So my apologies, I can't give you more detail than that, but that was the I think it came through the Regional Growth Leadership Group work about key infrastructure networks and potential opportunities.
It just strikes me that if we're looking at key infrastructure wants, that there'll be a whole bunch that are ahead of that one that we haven't written down. So we just got to be careful about highlighting that one when it's probably not on most of our radars at this point.
So can I suggest that perhaps we just remove it?
I would. I mean, I'm not unsupportive of the concept, but I think in the context of this short, sharp letter of key things we want, I think I would be happier if it wasn't there.
I thought the letter was very good. I thought it was good. It was more positive about what we were doing and how we could be working with the government. For me, the appendix then just started the wish list. Right. And I think it detracts from the letter. We're trying to get these ministers here. That's our opportunity to sit around the table and talk with them about the whole variety of things when you can go into the details. But I think that's why the Western Bay area kept it pretty brief and high level rather than individual projects, because they're not going to come here and discuss individual projects. And I thought we were trying to get away from a list of things that we wanted. I'm very happy with the letter. I'm nervous about the appendix, I guess.
And they're
And
clearly written by
detail
different people. And they're obviously written by different people, and it
Yes,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a few nods around the table. I also looked in and thought, I think I would have provided more of a wish list for Rotorua, but in the desire of wanting to get them here for the conversation, I thought I would be quite comfortable to remove it as well. So unless anybody has an opposing view that the appendix will be okay to be left out now? Nope. Okay, well, I think we will confirm that we'll remove the appendix. And again, it could just be an opportunity after the discussion, once we get it hopefully in May, then we can send and here are the strategic issues or quick wins that we can work on together. Okay. Final call for any additions or changes? No, that does appear to be it. The only question I did have is, and thank you very much to all of the mayors who at quick notice provided an electronic signature for the original letter. I thought it was actually quite a nice touch to show that it's supported by all of us. Are you happy for us to do that again, and we'll contact your individual officers? Excellent, thank you. So we will update the logos and get your electronic signature with your approval through your office. Okay, thank you. So that completes that item. So we now, oh, sorry, apologies. We do need to actually vote on it. So may I please have a mover and a seconder for point 2, approves the letter with amendments, inviting Honourable Simeon Brown, Minister of Local Government, to the Mayoral Forum meeting on 3rd of May 2024.
Me too, but it's actually inviting Minister Bishop and Minister Jones as well as Minister Brown. So it's all three.
Thank you. Noted. We will update that to the recommendation. May I please have a mover and a seconder for that? That's moved by Mayor Trunui, seconded by Mayor Denia. All those in favour, please say aye. Any against? That's carried. So we will now move into the public excluded section so that we may start our workshop. Can I please have a mover and a seconder for that? That's moved by Ian Moore, seconded by Commissioner Chair Tolley. All those in favour, please say aye. Thank you. We'll just confirm that the Zoom recording has been stopped, and then we'll hand over to our presenter.